Good morning. It's Harvey Jackson from Sea Gray Marketing. I'm going to go through the U.S. Drought Monitor and just see if there's any areas of concern in there. So first off, the weather that's going across the U.S. is actually putting more moisture and maybe a little bit too much in some areas, but it doesn't look to be threatening, and it's actually probably helping, if anything. Um, So here's your 6 to 10 day weather outlook or temperature outlook, and you can see that it's pretty cool in the north where we're situated, and looks below normal, and all forecasts are kind of pointing that way, with above normal way down in the Florida and in the corner down there, and way above over in Seattle, kind of Washington as well. Uh, Precipitation outlook for the 6 to 10, above in some of the western central areas of the U.S., and near normal down by parts of Texas into the Gulf, and everywhere else is it looks like it's going to get some sufficient moisture. The 8 to 10 showing almost identical as the 1 week outlook. So the 2 week outlook for temperature is still below normal and extreme or hot in the west and far southeast. And moisture is similar kind of a outlook as well. I just want to point out here, I just found an article on India's monsoon, and it's bringing above average rain for August, September, and I've got to realize that that's a forecast, and that is not always a for sure, but it does point out that we are 9% more rainfall as well in this last month. So it's actually building some of the reserves for water for their irrigation, because a lot of the country counts on irrigation and the monsoon that's happening in these months. So here's just a backed up satellite view, basically, of potential rainfall, and you can see through Calgary and south, and into the Chicago, into a lot of the major corn soybean growing areas for the next week. It looks like they're going to get some moisture, and we saw that earlier. And here is a bit of Europe. You can see France and Germany getting a little bit of rainfall, and drifting over to the northern parts of some of the Black Sea region as well. A bit of a band that's going across there as well. If there's any spring planted crops, it could maybe give it some reprieve. So short-term drought indicator, wet in the Minneapolis area, and down along the river system. There's some wet to extreme wet, with some dryness building out west. And longer term, showing maybe a little bit of the flip of that as well. Your drought monitor has increased a little wee bit of drought in some areas. Corn increased by 1%, soybeans by 1%. And I do want to point out Durham actually went from 13 to 25%, and spring went 15 to 16. So there's some increasing drought in the crops that are affecting us. Here's your corner area. Looks virtually not caught or of any great concern at all. And what I want to point out with this here is, if you look at the top 6 to 8, 10 states, there's very few of them actually have drought in there. So these are the top producing: Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, Minnesota, Indiana, and very little drought. Same thing with the soybean areas in drought, only 5%. And you can see here the top states until you get to Ohio, all of them were no drought at all concerns. Durham, it increased, like I said before, it's at 25% drought, and that could actually be a good thing, as a lot of the crop is advanced, and it's you know drought during harvest is probably not a bad thing. It speeds up harvest. Same thing with the spring wheat; it increased a little wee bit. Um, So here, let's just get a quick snapshot of what's going on. When I took the snapshot here just a few minutes ago, canola was down $9. Rapeseed is up, or basically flat. I should actually update this because this one's coming off the board here. And soybean oil down a third of a penny, or a third of a cent. Palm oil down a little bit. Crude oil is still tracking up with the tensions going on in the Middle East. Soybeans up 4 to 5 cents, and the wheats are up 3 to 5 cents. Canadian dollar is still basically flat. So start off with the soybean oil. You can see that there's a little bit of a tail here, where the market's actually went to full retracement at 41 cents, and now we're trading around that 40, 41 something, just shy of 42, and that's probably a good story for the canola, as it does have a story or have a hold with the market here, and yet soybeans have been tracking lower and longer term lower as well. So if you see here, we have to go back all the way back to the fall of 2020 since we've been at these lows and that shaded areas when we were when the U.S. was fighting with the Trump trade wars, and that's if we break through there, maybe that's the direction we're going with a large crop, of course. Here's your canola itself. We broke through this retracement value. Looks like we could be on our way closer to that $600 value. Rapeseed still holding the 61.8 retracement value, and we can just that might actually give us some support for the canola out west here. So this is just a quick and board from left field here, but nearby canola minus soybean futures. We have traded with a large premium above soybeans, so you can see that we can get higher if there's a rationale why canola should be trading higher than the soybeans. So we're getting some separation of the soybean to canola values if we can break through this value and get a little bit higher. So canola still could have some strength versus the soybeans. We may not just get pulled around by the beans, in other words. Wheat, here we are. Going to show corn first because it's got the corn is king kind of a scenario here, trading below the last couple of days, below $4 on the December. And if we look back again, that takes us all the way back to the fall of 2020 values with some length that was lower than that in the growing season 2020 if we were to get there. Here's your spring wheat, and it looks like we made a double bottom here, but I would just caution to think that this is actually going to be bullish here with corn where it's gone, and with the Kansas market actually did not show the same kind of bottom. So looking farther back, again, that takes us all the way back to the fall of 2020 since we've seen these kind of lows. So, and that's all I have for you today. August 12th is the next USDA crop production report, and it sounds like they're going to have acreage adjustments in that report as well. So we'll have to stay on top of that one. We'll chat later.